Welcome to Without a Doubt, the podcast where we explore the transformative journey of breaking cycles and embracing our truest self. I'm Mad, a cycle breaker, freelancer, and a sprinkle of reality. Each week, we dive into conversations that challenge conventional thinking and inspire personal growth. Here, you'll find practical tips to help you navigate your own path towards authenticity. Whether you're looking to overcome limiting beliefs, create meaningful change in your own life, or simply live more authentically, you're in the right place. So get ready to break the cycles that are holding you back and start living a life that is truly reflecting who you are meant to be. As a woman who has been called intimidating time and time again, it's time to bring to light what this actually means. Being an intimidating woman holds a power. Hell, it is a superpower. Most badass women possess this without even knowing it. It carries a tone of power, spark, energy, all while being weighted down by a negative connotation. Being called an intimidating woman is how someone who feels less than usually tries to bring you back into the level playing field. It's by them pointing out a strength you have that someone barely possesses. For a long time, I would get all upset about being called intimidating until I actually realized this wasn't on me. It was on other people. You being an intimidating woman, an intimidating human, is not your problem. It's their problem. An intimidating woman is usually someone who exudes confidence, strength, self-assurance in ways that make others feel uneasy, odd, or even threatened, whether that's intentional or not. Her presence often commands respect, and she may or may not necessarily rely on their physical traits to create this perception. Although your physical traits can play a role, their overall demeanor, behavior, and energy is what contributes to them being an intimidating woman. An intimidating woman possesses a superpower, but for men and women and others who don't, they feel the need to let these intimidating humans know they possess it. Why would you be called intimidating? Well, often when a woman exhibits confidence, authority, independence even, she challenges power dynamics that sometimes some may expect to be in favor of men. And this shift makes others uncomfortable, especially men. They feel threatened and they can feel less than. People who are used to these traditional gender roles may find it difficult to relate or even engage with any kind of woman who challenges or is even somewhat confident or even somewhat independent in those roles. Independent women tend to make them feel uncertain or insecure. People who feel insecure about their own abilities or status may view a woman who seems self-assured and successful as intimidating because she represents a standard that they don't feel they can reach. There's actually a social psychology phenomenon that's called tall poppy syndrome. It's when you start achieving more than your peers, your head seems to stick up a little bit more than the others. And people feel compelled to chop off that head to make everything equal playing field, the same height. Cutting people down devalues someone else's achievements. It's by suggesting that they don't deserve that attention. Intimidating is a word that immediately brings up feelings of shame for most women. For a long time, it made me feel shamed to be an intimidating woman. My mom actually used to tell me that I was so intimidating I probably would never be with a man. And here I am now in a 10-year relationship with a woman. Calling someone intimidating is a professionally acceptable way to call someone bossy, unapproachable, or even bitchy. Pretty much from birth, society teaches us as women we're supposed to smile, be friendly, approachable. But intimidating is one of the best ways to shame a woman back into their little quiet, small, underachieving box. A box where we can be sweet, but not powerful. It feels insulting at times to be called intimidating because, well, it can feel like an evaluation of our personality or our character traits. Often these go without a clear understanding of who we really are. It can suggest that you're coming across distant, cold, unapproachable, even if that's not your intention. Being called intimidating can cause someone to question their own behavior, leading them to feel more self-conscious or insecure. That has even happened to me. It's made me feel like I need to take a few steps back, when in reality, that is not the case. You could feel like you're doing something wrong or people aren't perceiving you in a way that you want them to. Sometimes this is the biggest hit to self-esteem because you're perceived as intimidating It can be a blanket label that oversimplifies our personality, and it's easy for someone to say you're intimidating based on superficial traits like your physical appearance or just your confidence, without considering even the full picture of who you are. This feels reductive and may not accurately reflect our intentions or our character, like I've been mentioning. Women in particular find this label more frustrating or insulting. I do. It sometimes is used to silence or diminish women authority. When a woman is perceived as confident or assertive, for example, she may be labeled as intimidating in a way that a man might not be, even though they display the same traits. I feel like this is a good time to talk about the Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. She seems to be an intimidating woman, at least to him. No children, that seems intimidating to him. Men can also have cats and be childless. But for some reason, calling that out to a woman is the way that we can diminish a woman's power, because she doesn't have the things that a woman should have, children. When people are intimidated, they will put you back in a box. There is no equal playing field in men and women with intimidation, because women are supposed to be less intimidating. I think also being called intimidating can also signal that people are just afraid to connect with you. This really makes me think of one time when I was getting into my fat to fit phase, my fat to fit era, and I was starting at a gym and there was a coach there and I just would not take her class. She was very intimidating me. I could hear her on the microphone until I actually got to know her. When I met her one time at a race and she was nice and friendly and recognized me, then I started to take her class. It was like a barrier, the intimidation barrier, and I felt that from her. But I also exude confidence and I was intimidating as well. When I finally started taking her classes, she was like, "What took so long?" I felt like, I wasn't forming an authentic relationship because I was holding back due to my own fear rather than engaging with this instructor as an individual. Pulitzer Prize-winning historian Laurel Thatchell Ulrich wrote, "Well-behaved women seldom make history." And here are a few examples, literally starting with the Queen. Queen Elizabeth I, she ruled England for 45 years during the Elizabethan era. That was a time during cultural flourishing, military victories, the defeat of the Spanish Armada. She was a highly skilled politician and diplomat, managed domestic affairs, international relations, and she did this with great success. Why was she intimidating? Well, she was a both shrewd strategist and a formidable ruler. She maintained control over her court and powerful men around her. Her refusal to actually marry or give up her power challenged traditional roles of women in her time. Joan of Arc is another intimidating woman. She was a peasant girl who led the French army through several important victories during the 100 Years' War. Joan of Arc was a symbol of courage, determination, and divine conviction. She defied gender norms and the expectations of that time. She led troops to battle while claiming to be guided by divine visions. She was a fearless leader, a fearless warrior who defied gender roles, expectations, and political establishment of her time. Her conviction and her leadership made her a figure of immense power and influence. Now let's talk about the RBG. In our U.S. Supreme Court, Ruth Bader Ginsburg became a trailblazer for women's rights. She advocated for gender equality and civil liberties throughout her career. Known as the notorious RBG, she became a pop culture icon while maintaining a reputation as a fierce advocate for justice and law. Her legal expertise and sharp intellect made her an imposing figure in the courtroom. Her quiet, unyielding approach to justice actually made her both revered and feared by those who disagreed with her views. She was tiny, but she was mighty. Serena Williams, a badass athlete, is one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Dominated her sport for decades. Her athleticism, mental toughness, physical strength have made her a formidable opponent on the court. She is so intimidating on and off the court. Many would say she has RBF, and I have actually seen her out in real time. Her presence is mystifying. Combined with her outspoken confidence and resilience in the face of adversity, she has become an intimidating figure in the world of sports and beyond. Her power on the court leaves opponents mentally and physically overwhelmed. Malala Yousafzai is a global advocate for girls' education, surviving an assassination attempt by the Taliban. She campaigned for girls' right in education in Pakistan. She became the youngest ever Nobel Prize winner. at 17 years old. Her courage, intellectual prowess, and unwavering commitment to her cause in the face of extreme adversity has made her inspiring but an intimidating figure, mostly to men. Her ability to stand up to the powerful adversaries and speak truth to power is a defining feature of her character. How does one actually become an intimidating woman? Well, if you're aiming to project a more intimidating presence, whether for self-defense, to assert authority, to command respect in whatever situation, here's a couple ways to cultivate perception without compromising your integrity or authenticity. First of all, with your body language, we need to stand tall, stand confident, maintain good posture, shoulders back, head high, spine straight. A confident, upright stance conveys power and control. Take up space. Stop hunching over. Don't shrink into yourself. Sitting or standing with your body spread out rather than contracted, all rolled in, shoulders forward, hands crossed. You want to feel more dominant, you've got to take up more space. Holding strong eye contact, holding steady, unflinching eye contact makes you seem assertive and unafraid. Avoiding eye contact during conversations makes you seem unconfident, makes you seem like you're backing away. If you're quick and erratic with your movements and you signal nervousness, people are going to know you're fucking nervous. Move with purpose, move with control. That gives the impression of confidence and authority. Firm handshakes, I learned this in high school, in leadership class. Webbies to webbies, make sure you're touching, but a strong, confident handshake will convey power in professional settings. Avoid those little limp handshakes, like barely touching hands, like that suggests weakness or insecurity. I've been told so many times that I have such a nice handshake, and it's because I shake with power. I think it's also important that you have a tone of voice. Speak slow, speak clear. Speaking controlled, deliberate pace can actually make your words sound more impactful. Rushed or hurried manner, speaking silently, all of that undermines authority. Avoid filler words like like, which I need to work on, you know, which I need to work on. All of those undermine confidence. Be mindful when you speak with clarity and conviction. Your mindset and your attitude, confidence is key. One of the most important aspects of being intimidating is self-assurance. If you truly believe in your own self-worth, your own authority, others will feel that. Confidence comes from experience, self-belief, and comfort in your own skin. Loving who you are, knowing who you are, and accepting who you are. Assertiveness without aggression, it means being assertive, standing up for yourself, and expressing your needs or opinions without being overbearing or aggressive. And I think this is really hard with communication. There is a big difference between being intimidating and being hostile. The former commands respect, while the latter involves conflict. I think if you can also control your emotions, people who are easily angered or emotional can be perceived as weak, unpredictable. Keeping a calm, composed demeanor, even in challenging situations, that will make you appear more in control and intimidating. This makes me think of the show Survivor. I am a big Survivor fan. When you're watching that show, there are people that just literally go crazy, like their brain, their mind, everything is taking over, and you can tell they're crumbling. The other contestants also can tell they're crumbling. They feel unpredictable, and then they vote those people off because, well, you can't trust someone who's like a little shaky leaf. Controlling your responses and emotions is very different than being vulnerable. Sharing and being open is being vulnerable, but being uncertain, unaware, unsure, those are ways that people are going to easily push you back into your hole. If you can create mystery and be selective with what you share, you don't have to reveal everything. You don't have to tell everyone everything about yourself. I remember the very first session with my therapist, she said, you don't have to tell me your whole exact narrative. Like, I don't need it all now, and I'm never going to need it all. And I think about this in our day-to-day. Oversharing never really gets you far. Keeping certain aspects of your life, opinions, and your intentions private will actually make you seem more enigmatic and unpredictable. Sometimes people do like mystery. People tend to remember individuals who are hard to read or create an air of mystery, but keeping some things to yourself will actually make others more hesitant to fully gauge or challenge you to understand your authentic self. They always say people remember how you made them feel. And I think that's important. Use your silence effectively. It can be a powerful tool. Sometimes not responding immediately or taking a moment to think before speaking can actually create a little tension and establish dominance in a conversation. When provoked, you can stay calm, not react immediately, and that shows emotional control, inner strength. People will learn not to rattle you so easily, which ends up being more intimidating. If you act like a boss, you will be a boss. If you can maintain your boundaries, that also proves to be a little more intimidating. You're not as easily accessible. If you're always available, people will take your time and your presence for granted. If you're being slightly elusive or hard to get a hold of, that'll elevate your perceived value and make people respect your boundaries. Holding tight to your boundaries is how you protect your peace. It's how you get people learn about who you are and what you are willing or what you're not willing to tolerate. If you're afraid to say no, that appears weak. Learn to assert your boundaries clearly without hesitation. This is your life. Do it for you. And start breaking patterns. People can predict your behavior. You're less likely to intimidate them. Keeping people on their toes, that little bit of mystery, not always acting the exact same way, will actually create an air of unpredictability. And that adds to your intimidating aura. Think like Elon Musk. No one really understands him. He's like an alien, no lie. He's intimidating the tech space. He's taking up space, literally. And he's doing things people never imagined. He is breaking barriers. You never know what his next step will be. Respect for yourself and others, just integrity, consistency. Ironically, part of being intimidating is being consistent in your values and even your actions. Yes, leave a little mystery, like I said, but people are more likely to respect you and find you intimidating if they see that you do have strong principles, you do have morals, and you are sticking to them, no matter the situation. Hold tightly to integrity and doing what you say. Talk the talk, but also walk the walk. Ultimately, being intimidating isn't about being hostile or aggressive. It's about cultivating confidence, authority, self-respect, having self-worth in a way that makes others take you seriously and respect your space. It means owning who you are wherever you are. Being an intimidating woman doesn't mean being unapproachable or overly aggressive. It's about embodying your strength, your confidence, your self-respect in a way that actually commands the attention and the respect you deserve. This type of woman is often admired, even though sometimes misunderstood. There's no reason to feel shame about being an intimidating woman. Your ability to assert yourself and your boundaries without apology is your superpower. Do you know how amazing that is? Do you know how many people wish they could do that? And if you can do that, you got it. When you're living the most authentic life, others find that intimidating because you're figuring it out on your own. You're putting one foot in front of the other in order to find the magical land of authenticity, your land of authenticity. And often people find that intimidating because, hey, you can and they can't. It's just that simple. Don't stop being who you are. Let them think you're intimidating and keep moving with the zest for success that embodies what you want for yourself. Only you can do that. Being the intimidating woman is your superpower, and it's only going to bring you more greatness and land you in seats at a table that you're meant to sit at. Go out, intimidate the fuck out of the world. You are without a doubt a badass. Don't you forget it. I will see you next week. XOXO, your girl Mad. See ya. Hey, and by the way, if you love this podcast, let me remind you that you sharing this is one of the greatest ways to help my podcast just grow. If you don't already follow this, hit the follow button. Give it a rating. Do something with this that can help this go from where I am now to somewhere greater. You have the ability to help me be a bigger podcaster. I love you for being here, and you can always find me on YouTube, Instagram, or anywhere you listen to your podcasts. See you around and catch you next time. Bye.